A long time ago, in a village of winding hills called Hillmere, a clever boy named Finn roamed with a bounce in his step. The hills rolled green and gentle around his home, a little stone house perched near a bubbling brook. Wild flowers nodded in the breeze, and the sun warmed the rooftops of the village below. Finn loved exploring, his dark eyes sharp with wonder, always poking into nooks others missed. His mother often warned him to stay close, but his feet wandered anyway, chasing the wind's whistle. One sunny morning, Finn climbed a hill higher than usual, his patched boots kicking up dust. His friend Bess trailed behind, her curly hair bouncing as she swung a stick like a sword. "Slow down," she called, her voice bright with a laugh. Then came Todd, smaller and quieter, clutching a wooden whistle he'd carved himself. "Wait up," he puffed, his freckled face pink from the climb. Finn grinned back at them, waving them on. Near the hill's top, something glinted through the grass, bright golden, like a trapped sunbeam. Finn knelt, brushing aside leaves, and found a cage, small and round, its bars shining with a warm glow. Inside sat a stranger, no taller than Finn's knee, his coat tattered, his gray eyes wide with surprise. "Help me," the stranger whispered, his voice thin but clear. Finn tilted his head, clever thoughts spinning, and Bess crouched beside him. "Who's that?" she asked, poking the cage with her stick. Todd peeked over, blowing a soft note on his whistle. "Looks stuck," he murmured. Finn's fingers found a latch, simple but stiff, and he tugged it open. The cage swung wide, and the stranger stepped out, stretching with a sigh. "Thank you," he said, brushing dust from his coat. "I'm Jace. Been locked up a while." Finn grinned. "I'm Finn. This is Bess and Todd. Who caught you?" Jace's gray eyes flickered, glancing downhill. "The keeper. He's greedy, likes shiny things." Bess twirled her stick. "Keeper? Down there." Jace nodded, pointing to a crooked house at Hillmere's edge, its roof sagging, its windows dark. "Name's Gorin. He'll come looking soon." Todd's whistle slipped, a squeak escaping. "Looking for us?" Finn stood, brushing his hands. "Let him try. We're quick." Jace smiled faintly, a spark of thanks in his look, and slipped a tiny key from his pocket. "This unlocks more than cages," he said, tossing it to Finn. "Keep it safe." Before Finn could ask more, a shout echoed up the hill, gruff and loud. A big man stomped into view, his coat patched with gold thread, his beard thick and tangled. Gorin the keeper carried a heavy sack, his small eyes glinting with anger. "Who opened my cage?" he bellowed, spotting Jace. Bess gripped her stick, Todd shrank back, and Finn tucked the key into his pocket, his grin fading. "Run," he whispered, and they bolted downhill, Jace scrambling after. Gorin chased, his boots thudding, but the kids knew the hills, darting through bushes, leaping the brook. They hid behind a big rock, breathing hard, and Jace crouched low, his coat blending with the stone. "He's fast," Bess panted, peering out. Todd clutched his whistle. "What's he want?" Finn peeked too, seeing Gorin halt, sniffing the air like a hound. "That cage," he murmured, clever mind racing. "It's special." The sun dipped lower, Hillmere nestled quiet below, and Finn held the key tight, knowing their adventure had just begun. The sun sank low over Hillmere, painting the winding hills with a soft orange glow. Finn crouched behind the big rock, his dark eyes sharp as he peeked at Goran stomping back toward his crooked house. The keeper's heavy sack swung with each step, his gruff mutters fading into the breeze. Finn's patched boots pressed into the dusty ground, and he clutched Jace's tiny key, its edges cool in his pocket. Bess knelt beside him, her curly hair tangled with twigs, her stick resting across her knees. Todd huddled close, his freckled face pale, fingering his wooden whistle with a nervous hum. Jace, the freed stranger, stayed low, his tattered coat blending with the stone, his gray eyes flickering with quiet thanks. Bess brushed dirt from her hands, her voice a whisper. "He's gone. For now." Finn nodded, his clever mind spinning. That cage meant something to him. Todd blew a soft note, barely a sound. "Why lock Jace up?" The stranger shifted, brushing his coat straight. "Goran collects things, shiny things, rare things. I wandered too close, and he nabbed me." Finn tilted his head, grinning faintly. "Lucky we wandered closer." Jace chuckled, a small dry sound, and glanced at the key in Finn's hand. "That's more than luck. It unlocks his secrets, if you're brave enough." Bess twirled her stick, eyes bright. "Braves us. What secrets?" Jace's gaze drifted downhill, toward Hillmere's quiet houses. "Something big. He guards it, but I never saw." Todd's whistle slipped, a squeak escaping. "Guards what?" Finn tucked the key away, standing tall. "We'll find out. Tonight." They crept down the hill as dusk settled, the brook gurgling beside them. Hillmere's rooftops glowed faintly, lanterns flickering in windows, but Goran's house stood dark at the edge. Finn led the way, his steps quick and sure, Bess matching his pace, Todd trailing with Jace. They ducked behind a cart near the house, its sagging roof casting long shadows. Finn peeked through a cracked window. Inside, shelves sagged with odd trinkets, silver coins, glass bells, a bird carved of jade. In the corner sat another cage, bigger, its bars glinting gold, empty but humming faintly. Bess nudged Finn, her whisper sharp. "Look at that." He nodded, eyes narrowing. "More cages, more secrets." Jace crouched low, his breath quick. "He's got plans, greedy ones." Todd clutched his whistle, peering past them. "Someone's coming." Footsteps crunched, slow, heavy, and Goran loomed from the back, a lantern swinging in his grip. Finn pulled them down, heart thumping, as the keeper's shadow stretched across the cart. Goran paused, sniffing the air again, his small eyes glinting in the lantern's light. He muttered low, too soft to catch, and shuffled inside, the door creaking shut. Finn waited, then waved them on. "Close one," he breathed, leading them to a hollow by the brook. They sat, the water's gurgle masking their whispers, and Finn pulled out the key, holding it up. "This fits something here. We need a plan." Bess grinned, tapping her stick. "Sneak in." Todd shook his head, whistle tight. "Too risky." Jace leaned forward, his voice a hush. "Goran naps at midnight. That's your chance." Finn's grin returned, clever and bold. "Midnight it is. We'll outsmart him." Bess twirled her stick, ready, and Todd blew a quiet note, his courage flickering. Jace nodded, a spark of trust in his gray eyes. I'll watch the hill. Signal if he stirs. The stars crept out, Hillmere settling into sleep, and Finn tucked the key back, his mind racing with tricks and traps. The golden cage's hum lingered in his thoughts. Something big waited, and he'd find it, with his friends by his side. Night cloaked Hillmere in stillness, the winding hills dark under a sprinkle of stars. Finn crouched by the brook, its gentle gurgle mixing with the rustle of grass in the breeze. His patched boots pressed into the damp earth, and he held Jace's tiny key, its faint shine catching the moonlight. Bess sat beside him, her curly hair tucked behind her ears, her stick tracing lines in the dirt. Todd leaned against a rock, his freckled fingers twirling his wooden whistle, its quiet hum blending with the night. Jace perched higher on the hill, his tattered coat fluttering as he watched Goran's crooked house, ready to signal if the keeper stirred. Finn's dark eyes glinted with a clever spark. "Midnight's close," he whispered, glancing at the village lanterns dimming one by one. Bess nodded, her grin sharp. "We sneak in, find what that key fits." Todd's whistle paused, his voice a soft murmur. "What if he wakes?" Finn tucked the key into his pocket, his confidence steady. "We're quieter than mice. Jace'll warn us." Bess tapped her stick, eager, and Todd gave a small nod, his courage flickering brighter. They waited, the air cooling, until the last lantern winked out. Jace waved a hand from the hill. Goran's house stood silent, its windows black. Finn led them forward, steps light across the grass, the brook fading behind. They reached the crooked house, its sagging roof looming, and Finn eased the door open, a faint creak breaking the hush. Inside, shadows danced over shelves of trinkets, silver coins, glass bells, the jade bird glinting faintly. The bigger golden cage sat in the corner, its bars humming low, a soft warmth pulsing from it. Bess crept closer, her stick poking the air. "That's it," she breathed, eyes wide. Finn knelt by the cage, tracing its bars, and pulled the key from his pocket. It fit a small lock, clicking softly as he turned it. The cage swung open, but nothing spilled out, only a glow warm and golden, swirling up like mist. Todd stepped back, his whistle slipping. "What's that?" Before Finn could guess, a shadow loomed. Goran shuffled from the back, his lantern swinging, his thick beard bristling in the light. "Who's there?" he growled, squinting into the gloom. Finn froze, key in hand, and Bess grabbed Todd, pulling him behind a shelf. Goran stomped closer, his small eyes glinting, and Finn ducked low, the glow fading fast. "Thieves!" Goran barked, lunging for the cage, but his foot caught a bell, clattering loud. Bess stifled a laugh, and Finn waved them toward the door. Time to run. They bolted outside, the keeper's shouts chasing them, and Jace darted down the hill, joining the scramble. Goran stumbled after, lantern swaying, but the kids knew Hillmere's twists, darting past houses, weaving through bushes. They slid into a hollow near the brook, breathing hard, and Goran's light faded, his grumbling lost to the night. Finn grinned, catching his breath. "Close one." Todd clutched his whistle, eyes wide. "That glow, what was it?" Bess brushed dirt from her knees, her voice a hush. "Something he wants." Jace nodded, his gray eyes sharp. "It's why he caged me. That glow's alive, part of his hoard. Finn held up the key. It's shine dimmer now. This unlocks more than cages. We've got him rattled. A rustle broke their whispers. A girl stepped from the shadows, her apron patched, a basket of bread in her arms. "Saw you running," she said, her voice soft but firm. "I'm Jen, from the bakery. Gorin's mad tonight." Finn tilted his head, clever mind ticking. "Know him?" Jen nodded, setting the basket down. "He trades for my loaves, gold for bread. Says it's his luck." Bess grinned, tapping her stick. "Luck's ours now." Todd blew a quiet note, his nerves easing, and Jace leaned closer. "He'll guard it tighter. We need a trick." Finn tucked the key away, his grin bold. "We'll outsmart him again. With Jen, we're 5. The brook gurgled, Hillmere slept, and the golden glow lingered in Finn's thoughts, bigger than they knew. The stars twinkled over Hillmere, casting a faint glow on the winding hills as night stretched on. Finn sat in the hollow by the brook, its soft gurgle mingling with the rustle of leaves. His patched boots rested on damp grass, and he twirled Jace's tiny key, its edges catching the starlight. Bess lounged nearby, her curly hair spilling over her shoulders, her stick propped against a rock. Todd leaned on the same rock, his wooden whistle quiet in his hands, his freckled face calm but watchful. Jace crouched beside Finn, his tattered coat still, his gray eyes glinting with a mix of trust and caution. Jen settled her bread basket down, her apron patched with flour, her voice a gentle hum as she broke off a loaf to share. Finn's clever mind churned, replaying the golden glow from Gorin's cage. "It's alive," he murmured, passing bread to Bess. "Something big." Bess tore a piece, nodding sharply. "He'll lock it up tight now." Todd nibbled his share, his eyes flickering to the key. "What's it unlock next?" Jace took a bite, chewing slow. "More cages, maybe. Gorin hoards, keeps 'em hidden." Jen brushed crumbs from her hands, her tone steady. "He's greedy. Trades me gold scraps for bread, calls it his charm." Finn grinned, leaning forward. "Charm's ours now. We need a trick, one step ahead." Bess tapped her fingers, her grin matching his. "Sneak back? Swap something fake?" Todd shook his head, his whistle twirling. "He'll spot it." Jace nodded, his voice low. "He's sharp, sniffs out tricks. But he naps deep." Jen tilted her head, her bread basket shifting. "Midnight's gone. Dawn's when he snores." Finn's eyes lit up, clever and bold. "Dawn then. We'll slip in, find that glow." Bess cracked her knuckles, ready. "I'll scout." Todd blew a soft note, his courage stirring. "I'll watch." Jace stretched, his coat rustling. "I'll signal, up the hill." Jen lifted her basket, a small smile breaking. "I've got bread, might distract him." Finn tucked the key away, his plan set. 5 of us, he won't know what hit him. They rested in the hollow, the brook's song lulling them, until the sky paled with dawn. Finn led them up, steps quiet over the hills, Hillmere waking slow below, roosters crowing, smoke curling from chimneys. Gorin's crooked house loomed at the edge, its windows dim. Bess crept ahead, peering through the cracked glass, Goran sprawled inside, snoring loud, his lantern cold, the big golden cage shut tight in the corner, humming faintly. Finn waved them close, easing the door open, its creak swallowed by Goran's snores. They slipped in, shadows stretching over trinkets, coins, bells, the jade bird glinting. Finn knelt by the cage, key in hand, and turned it slow. The lock clicked, and the glow swirled out again, warm and golden, brighter now. Bess gasped softly, Todd's eyes widened, and Jace edged closer, his breath catching. Jen set her basket down, loaves tumbling, and whispered, "It's moving." The glow twisted, forming a shape, a tiny figure, glowing like an ember, its wings fluttering fast. "Free," it chimed, voice high and clear, darting up. Goran snorted, stirring, and Finn froze. The keeper's hand twitched toward his sack. Bess grabbed a bell, tossing it across the room. It clattered loud, and Goran rolled over, mumbling. The figure zipped past, brushing Finn's cheek, warm and quick. "More of us," it sang, then vanished through a crack in the wall. Finn shut the cage fast, key-pocketed, and waved them out, just as Goran's eyes fluttered open. "Who's there?" he growled, sitting up slow. They bolted, Jen's bread left behind, and Goran's shout chased them, too late. They tumbled into the hollow, breathless, the brook's gurgle hiding their gasps. Finn grinned, wiping sweat. It talked. Bess laughed, soft and sharp. "More of 'em." Todd's whistle hummed, his oar bright. "What are they?" Jace's grey eyes narrowed, thoughtful. "Goran's horde, living light. He'll hunt us now." Jen nodded, her calm steady. "Bread won't stop him." Finn's grin held, clever and sure. "We'll outsmart him, 5 against 1. The dawn rose, Hillmere waking, and the golden riddle grew, pulling them deeper. Morning draped Hillmere in a soft golden light, the winding hills stretching quiet under a pale sky. Finn sat in the hollow by the brook, its gentle ripples glinting as he traced Jace's tiny key with his thumb. His patched boots rested on a stone, and his dark eyes flickered with clever thoughts. Bess sprawled nearby, her curly hair catching the sun, her stick tapping a restless beat on the ground. Todd perched on the rock, his wooden whistle quiet, his freckled cheeks flushed from their dawn escape. Jace leaned against a tree, his tattered coat still, his gray eyes narrowing as he watched the village below. Jen knelt by her empty breadbasket, her patched apron dusted with crumbs, her calm gaze steady on Finn. Finn broke the silence, his voice low. "That glowing thing, alive, talking. Goran's hiding more." Bess nodded, her tap quickening. "Lots more," it said. Todd's fingers tightened on his whistle, a soft hum escaping. "What are they?" Jace shifted, brushing his coat. "Lights, trapped ones. Goran's greed caught 'em." Jen tilted her head, her tone gentle. "He trades gold, maybe that's why." Finn's grin flickered, clever and sharp. "He's rattled now. We've got the key, he'll come for it." Bess sat up, her eyes bright. "Let him try. We'll trick him." Todd's hum paused, his courage wavering. "He's big." Jace grinned faintly, a spark in his gaze. "We're 5, quick and small." Jen brushed her hands clean, nodding. "Bread's gone, but I've got a sack, could fool him." Finn stood, key tucked safe, his mind spinning a plan. We lure him out, swap the key for a fake. Bess cracked her knuckles, eager. I'll make it, stick and twine. Todd blew a note, soft but sure. I'll hide it. Jace stretched, his coat rustling. I'll watch signal when he bites. Finn looked to Jen, his grin bold. You drop the sack, keep him guessing. She smiled, small and steady. Easy. They worked fast as the sun climbed, Bess twisting twine around a splintered stick, shaping a rough key, Todd wrapping it in moss for weight. Jen emptied her basket's last crumbs into a sack, tying it loose, and Jace climbed the hill, his perch clear. Finn paced, testing the fake against the real, his clever hands quick. The brook gurgled, Hillmere waking slow below, carts creaking, voices drifting, but Goran's house stayed dark, its silence heavy. A shout broke the calm, gruff and loud. Goran stomped from his door, his gold-threaded coat flapping, his thick beard bristling. Thieves! He bellowed, his sack swinging as he scanned the hills. Finn waved them low, heart thumping, and whispered now. Bess darted out, fake key in hand, dropping it near the brook, too obvious, too tempting. Jen strolled past, sack dangling, humming soft, and Goran's small eyes locked on her. Bread girl, he growled, lumbering closer. Jace signaled, 2 quick waves, and Finn nudged Todd. Hide it. Todd slipped the real key under a stone, his whistle quiet, and scampered back. Goran reached the brook, snatching the fake, his grin wide. Gotcha, he muttered, turning to Jen. What's in there? She shrugged, sack swinging, and he grabbed it, peering inside, empty but for crumbs. His growl rumbled, and Bess stifled a laugh, hiding behind the rock. Goran spun, clutching the fake, and stomped back, his lantern swinging wild. Finn crept out, grabbing the real key, his grin sharp. Fooled him. But a rustle sounded, soft, quick, and a glow flickered from the bushes. Another figure, tiny and golden, darted free, its wings buzzing. Out! It chimed, brushing Todd's cheek warm and fast. More still. It vanished uphill, and Goran froze, his head snapping round, too late to see. Todd's eyes widened, his whistle slipping. Another one. Bess grinned, tapping her stick. He's losing em. Jace slid down, his voice low. He'll check the cage, find it empty. Jen nodded, her calm steady. Then he's hunting us. Finn held the key tight, his clever mind racing. Good, we've got the lead. The brook sang, Hillmere glowed, and the golden riddle tightened, pulling them on. Midday sun bathed Hillmere in a warm golden light, the winding hills stretching quiet around the brook's hollow. Finn perched on a stone, his patched boots tapping the earth, Jace's tiny key glinting in his hand. His dark eyes sparkled with clever glee, replaying Goran's stumble over the fake. Bess lounged beside him, her curly hair catching the breeze, her stick resting across her lap. Todd sat cross-legged, his wooden whistle twirling slow, his freckled cheeks pink with a growing grin. Jace leaned against the rock, his tattered coat fluttering, his gray eyes scanning the village below. Jen knelt by her sack, her patched apron smooth, her calm hands folding it neat as she hummed a soft tune. Finn's voice broke the stillness, low and sharp. He's mad now, too gone from his hoard. Bess nodded, her grin quick, losing his glows. Todd's whistle hummed faintly, his courage steady. What's he do next? Jace brushed his coat, his tone hushed. Checks his cage, then hunts us hard. Jen looked up, her hum pausing. He'll want that key, real one. Finn tucked it safe, his clever mind whirring. We've got the lead, let's use it. Bess sat up, eyes bright. Hide it. Todd shook his head, his hum soft. He'll sniff it out. Jace grinned, a spark flickering. Bait him, keep him running. Jen nodded, her calm firm. Sack's empty, fill it, trick him again. Finn's grin spread, bold and quick. Bait and dodge, wear him down. They sprang up, the brooks gurgle masking their steps, and split the plan. Bess and Todd scrounged stones by the water, piling them into Jen's sack for weight. Finn and Jace crept closer to Goran's house, its crooked roof stark against Hillmere's glow. Smoke curled thin, villagers bustled below, unaware. Finn peeked through the cracked window. Goran paced inside, his gold-threaded coat swinging, his thick beard bristling as he muttered low. The big golden cage stood open, empty, its hum gone, and his small eyes glinted with fury. Jace nudged Finn, his whisper tight. He's checking now. Finn nodded, slipping back, and waved Jen forward. She strolled past, sack heavy on her shoulder, humming loud, too loud, tempting. Goran's head snapped up, his growl rumbling through the glass, and he burst out, lantern swinging. Bread girl, where's my key? Jen shrugged, sack dangling, and he lunged, snatching it fast. Stones spilled, clattering loud, and his face twisted red. Finn stifled a laugh, darting with Jace to the hollow. Bess and Todd waited, grinning wide. Fooled him twice, Bess breathed, her stick tapping glee. But a shout cut through, sharp close. Goran stomped up the hill, his sack bulging, his boots thudding fast. Thieves! He roared, spotting them, and Finn waved them on, run again. They bolted, splitting paths. Bess and Todd veered left, weaving through bushes, Jen and Jace right, ducking low. Finn darted straight, key tight, leading Goran's chase. His clever feet danced over roots, the brook's edge near. Goran gained, his growl loud, until a glow flashed, bright golden from the grass. A third figure buzzed free, its wings shimmering, its voice a chime. Out! It sang, brushing Finn's hand warm and swift. Last one, in there. It zipped toward Goran's house, vanishing fast. Finn skidded, turning sharp. Goran froze, his eyes wide, missing the glow. What's that? He muttered, stumbling forward, and Finn ducked behind a tree, breathless. Bess circled back, her stick raised, Todd puffing behind. Jen and Jace joined, sacks and shadows forgotten. Third one, Todd gasped, his whistle humming. Last where? Jace's gray eyes narrowed, sharp and sure. His hoard, inside. Goran spun, his lantern swinging wild, and stomped back. Finn's trick had slipped. Finn grinned, key warm in his pocket. He's lost 3, rattled bad. Bess tapped her stick, fierce. We're winning. Jen's calm held, her voice soft. He's not done. The brook sang, Hillmere glowed, and the golden chase tightened, Finn's crew ready for more. Afternoon light spilled over Hillmere, bathing the winding hills in a warm, amber glow. Finn crouched behind the tree near the brook, its soft ripples catching the sun as he clutched Jace's tiny key. His patched boots sank into the earth, and his dark eyes glinted with a clever spark. 3 golden figures freed, Gorin's hoard crumbling. Bess stood beside him, her curly hair wild from the chase, her stick gripped tight. Todd leaned on a branch, his wooden whistle humming low, his freckled face flushed with quiet pride. Jace perched higher, his tattered coat blending with the leaves, his gray eyes sharp on Gorin's crooked house below. Jen sat cross-legged, her patched apron smoothed, her empty sack folded neat, her calm gaze steady as ever. Finn's breath steadied, his voice a whisper. 3 gone, he's losing it. Bess nodded, her grin fierce. He's mad now. Todd's hum softened, his eyes flickering. What's left? Jace slid down, brushing his coat. The last one said in there, his hoard's inside. Jen tilted her head, her tone gentle. He'll guard it tight. Finn twirled the key, his clever mind racing. He's rattled, we hit him now. Bess tapped her stick, eager. Sneak in again? Todd's whistle paused, his courage firm. He's awake. Jace grinned, a spark flaring. Lure him out, one last trick. Finn nodded, his grin bold. Bait him big, then we slip in. Jen unfolded her sack, her calm steady. I'll draw him, use this. They huddled quick, the brook song masking their plan. Jen would stumble near Gorin's door, sack dragging loud, a clumsy lure. Bess and Todd would circle, making noise, sticks snapping, whistles trilling, to pull him further. Finn and Jace would sneak inside, key ready, to find the hoard. The sun dipped, Hillmere humming below, carts rolling, voices fading, and they moved, steps light over the hills. Jen went first, her sack scraping the path, her hum loud and off-key. Gorin's door creaked, his thick beard bristled out, his gold-threaded coat swinging, his small eyes glinting fury. "Bread girl," he growled, stomping toward her. Bess darted left, snapping twigs, and Todd blew sharp notes right, his whistle piercing. Gorin spun, sack swinging, his growl loud. "Thieves, everywhere." Jen stumbled back, sack tumbling, and he chased, lumbering fast. Finn and Jace slipped in, the house dim. Trinkets gleamed on shelves, coins clinking as they brushed past. The big golden cage sat empty, its hum gone, but a trapdoor yawned in the floor, dark, narrow, glowing faint below. Finn knelt, key in hand, and turned it in a hidden lock. Click soft, the trap swung open. A glow pulsed up, bright golden, a swarm of tiny figures, wings buzzing, trapped in a glass dome. "Free," one chimed, voice high, as Finn lifted it. Dozens swirled warm and alive. Gorin's shout echoed close, sharp. He turned back, his boots thudding loud. Finn froze, dome in arms, and Jace waved him up, too late. The keeper burst in, lantern blazing, his growl a roar. "Gotcha!" He lunged, sack raised, but Bess barreled through, stick swinging, crack on his shin, and Todd darted under, whistling wild. Gorin stumbled, roaring, and Jen tossed her sack, empty, flapping, over his head. Jace grabbed a bell, hurling it, clang loud, and Finn bolted, dome tight. They spilled out, Gorin thrashing behind. Bess led, Todd puffed, Jen and Jace flanked, Finn clutching the glow. The keeper ripped the sack free, his shout chasing, but the hills hid them, twigs snapping, brook rushing. They tumbled into the hollow, breathless, the dome pulsing warm. Finn set it down, key trembling, Goran's steps faded, his growl lost. Bess grinned, stick raised. Fooled him. Todd's whistle sang, high and free. All of 'em. Jace's grey eyes gleamed, sharp and sure. Lift it, last chance. Jen nodded, her calm steady. Now or never. Finn's fingers brushed the glass, his clever grin bold. The glow hummed, ready to burst, and Hillmere held its breath. Dusk settled over Hillmere, the winding hills glowing soft under a fading sun. Finn knelt in the hollow by the brook, its quiet ripples catching the last light as he held the glass dome, its golden glow pulsing warm in his hands. His patched boots sank into the grass, and his dark eyes shone with clever triumph. Goran's horde, dozens of tiny winged figures, hummed inside, free at last. Bess stood close, her curly hair wild, her stick propped victorious on her shoulder. Todd sat on the rock, his wooden whistle singing a soft tune, his freckled grin wide with pride. Jace leaned against a tree, his tattered coat still, his grey eyes bright with quiet relief. Jen rested her empty sack, her patched apron smooth, her calm smile steady as she watched the glow. Finn's breath steadied, his voice a hush. All of 'em, finally. Bess nodded, her grin sharp. Goran's done. Todd's tune lifted, his courage full. What now? Jace stepped closer, brushing his coat. Lift it, let him out. Jen tilted her head, her calm firm. They're waiting. Finn's fingers traced the dome, warm, alive, and he lifted the glass slow. The glow burst free, a swarm of golden figures swirling up, their wings buzzing like a summer breeze. Voices chimed high and clear, free, free, filling the hollow with light. They danced around Finn, brushing his cheek, warm and quick, then Bess, Todd, Jace, and Jen, thanks in every flutter. One hovered near, its tiny face bright. You cracked his greed, it sang, voice a bell. Our riddle's yours. Finn tilted his head, clever mind ticking. Riddle. The figure spun, glowing brighter. Joy's cage, open it. It pointed downhill. Hillmere's houses twinkled, lanterns flickering, but the village felt dim, quieter than it should. Bess tapped her stick, eyes wide. The village. Todd's whistle paused, his grin fading. It's sad. Jace nodded, his gaze sharp. Goran locked their light, us too. The figures swirled higher, darting toward Hillmere, and Finn stood, key in hand. Let's finish it. They moved quick, the brook song fading behind. Finn led, Bess beside, Todd humming, Jace and Jen steady. The golden swarm guided them, buzzing low to the village square. A stone well sat quiet, its rim worn, a lock glinting faint. Finn knelt, key fitting smooth, click sharp, and the well's cover shifted, a glow spilling up, golden vast, washing over Hillmere. Laughter rang soft, sudden, from houses, kids peeking out, villagers stepping free. The dimness lifted, joy bubbling up, lanterns flared bright, voices sang, the hills alive again. Bess spun her stick, laughing loud. We did it. Todd's whistle trilled, high and free, his freckles dancing. Jen smiled, her sack light, her calm warm. All back. Jace clapped Finn's shoulder, his grin true. Good team. A shout broke through, gruff fading. Goran stumbled from his house, his gold-threaded coat dull, his sack empty. The figures swirled around him, buzzing sharp, and he froze, his small eyes wide. No more, one chimed, and they darted off, leaving him slumped, his greed shrunk small. Villagers gathered, murmurs soft. Goran shuffled away, his crooked house dark, his chase over. Finn tucked the key away, its glow gone, and turned to his friends. The square hummed, Hillmere whole. Bess swung her stick, bold and bright. Best trick ever. Todd blew a note, his tune joyful. All us. Jace stretched, his coat fluttering. Free now, me too. Jen handed out bread scraps, her smile steady. For luck. The figures faded, their light settling into Hillmere. Kids laughed, carts rolled, the brook sang on. Finn sat by the well, Bess beside, Todd humming, Jace and Jen near, their circle tight, their tale done. Goran's greed broke, the golden cage emptied, and joy bloomed free, Finn's clever spark lighting the hills at last.